Hi, this is Shoshana Shear of BeAHappyMom.com, and it's another video in the series of Growing Without Gossiping. We're working through this book written by Lori Palatnik together with Bob Berg, and it's called Gossip, the 10 Ways to Eliminate It from Your Life and Transform Your Soul. So it's been a little bit of a few weeks or a few months, I forget when last I did the last video. And I've been thinking about this series and wanting to get to do more videos. One of the delays has been because I was taking the time to find certain images and include certain text, and the video editing is quite time consuming. So in order to be able to bring out videos like this more often so that we can grow together and see what we can do to be progressing in this area, I've decided to alter how I'm doing this. Let me know in the comments below if you like this new version or you don't like it and what your thoughts are. It'll help me to know what version of videos to be doing and how to be able to bring out more videos more frequently. So what I'm going to be doing is reading certain parts of the text of the book and bringing in a little bit of discussion, a little bit of other thoughts of my own from having been an occupational therapist now for 30 years. So let me know whether you like the style or you don't like it. I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of editing. So without more explanation about this, let's see how we go and how we progress. So we're starting a new chapter, and in this chapter, we're talking all about the body and the soul, and it's for the purpose of helping us to have a little bit of insight as to what the goal is with our speech, what the purpose is, whether it's just a free-for-all or we could say whatever we want to whoever we want, whenever we want, or is there a need for us to be careful as to what we're saying, who we're talking about, who we're talking to, and a number of guidelines. So let's have a look. Instead of my thinking off the cuff, let's have a look at or learn from this book and let the book guide us. I hope to bring in some other books later on in the series, but for now, here we have a quote at the start of the chapter. The source is unknown, so if anybody knows the source, please let us know. And the quote is like this: "We're not physical beings having a spiritual experience, but spiritual beings having a physical experience." Let's move on to the text, and I ask you to forgive me if my eyes are down as I'm reading from the book itself. Mastering the gift of speech serves no purpose unless you realize that you're not just a body, but also a soul. If you believe you are simply a body, then Lori and Bob say that you can put down the book, or you can switch off the video, you can stop listening, you can stop trying to grow and to consider what it is that how you're behaving in the world. You can do whatever you want as long as you don't get caught. You can live the bumper sticker, which reads, "Whoever dies with the most toys wins." Living a life only as a body infirms there's no ultimate justice, no higher authority, no rules except those imposed by humans. If you know you have a soul given to you by the Creator, then living life is another matter entirely. It means that what you do really does matter, even if no one knows about it. So if you're doing something in private, in the privacy of your own home, or you're having a conversation that's just between you and a friend or you and a relative, whether it's in your own home, in your garden, on the telephone, as long as nobody else hears about it, we think as though it doesn't really matter. But let's read a little bit more and discover that actually it does matter, and there are consequences to our actions and our speech and even to our thoughts. Even if no one knows about what it is that we're doing, it means there is an ultimate justice. It means that the choices we make in this world make a difference, not just for the here and now, but for eternity. You do have a soul. And it is the essence of who you are. You're probably nodding in agreement. At least I hope that you are. And as I think almost everybody would, if I stood outside your local mall asking everyone who passed by, are you a body or are you a body and a soul? I think almost 100% would answer, I'm a body and a soul. What do you think? Do you think that everybody recognizes that we're a soul in a body? Or are there people who are still in today's time thinking we're just a body? Yes, we say, but how many of us live it? How many of us live our lives in keeping with the concept that we actually are a soul in a body, and that our thought, speech, and action actually do make a difference, and that there are consequences to what it is that we say and we think and we do? How many of us wake up every day realizing that God has given us a gift of another day, that once again our soul has been restored? In the next paragraph, Laurie gives us a reminder, or explains to us that she is married to a rabbi. I am also. And she gives a little bit of a description as to how she wakes up in the morning. And there's some days that she wakes up not necessarily considering immediately that I'm a soul, but she might wake up bleary-eyed, as it describes here, tired. She goes about her daily routine. We all go about our daily routine. And how many of us consider that our daily routine is an indication as to the fact that we really are a soul in a body? We're not just a body. We might have very physical things that are our first things of the day if we're needing to go and go to the bathroom or splash our face, get something to eat, get something to drink, if you're going to be checking on a relative, a child, a baby. These all could be very, very physical things, but they're also indications, an extension of who we are as souls in bodies. And so our daily routine would begin, and even those of us who are involved in very spiritual lives, the very start of our day could be such that we're not necessarily going to consider that we are souls in bodies. And yet, God has a way of reminding us. We all have experiences when we know that we're not just bodies, but we are souls. We really are. These are soul awakening moments. Take a moment now and reflect. Think of a time in your life when you had a soul awakening experience. For some, it could be the birth of a baby, which is a very, very physical experience, and yet it's an absolutely miraculous one. For some, it could be going into nature and experiencing the various different sounds and sights that we experience in nature. It could be, as Laurie explains or suggests here, going into the countryside and looking at the night sky, where you're away from the smog and the fog from the city and from the city lights, and you're able to look at the night sky and to experience and enjoy what it is that you're seeing. You might be looking at a sunset or a sunrise. You might be looking at just a flower, or in a video that I shared yesterday, I mentioned about the bees and these little small creatures with their wings that move it so speedily, and how it is that bees are able to go from one flower to another, and they go to a specific flower and not another flower, or in a specific sequence that they're going from one flower to another. These can be very spiritual moments and reminders to us that there's a lot more going on. For some, you might have gone through a near-death experience, and the next few paragraphs, Laurie explains and describes somebody that she and her husband knew who had a near-death experience. He had a specific fall. He fell from a third-story balcony, and as he accidentally fell, his life was changed forever. Every year on the anniversary of the fall, he celebrates or celebrated, I don't know if he's still alive, publicly. He gives thanks, as he says, for the best day of his life. He says that until that day, he was living completely as a body on the fast track of life, cultivating the proverbial wine, women, and song. He was the coolest, most popular guy in his social group, moving up just as fast as he could. And then the fall stopped him in his tracks. When he was released in a wheelchair from the hospital and arrived home to recover, he phoned Laurie's husband, who, as we read already, is a rabbi, and he said to Rabbi Palatnik that he knows that God had saved him from that fall, and that not only did he live, but the doctors stated that his recovery had up until that conversation with Rabbi Palatnik, his recovery had been rather miraculous. They expected that he would even walk again. And then he said something which was rather special, something that was more profound. And he said that God saved him from the fall. But aside from that, he realized also that God pushed him, and he wanted to know why. And so he and the rabbi spent some time planning a new direction, a different path for his life. If any of you have experienced any life-changing event, it could be an illness, it could be a trauma, it could be there are all sorts of things that take place. Living in the times of the coronavirus, there are many, many things taking place now that are a reminder for us that something else is going on. For this particular gentleman, every year he gives public thanks to the fact that God had given him a tremendous kindness, had got his attention. Until then, he was living as a body. From that day on, he was awakened to the fact that he also had a soul. The ultimate soul awakening experience is witnessing death. The death of a loved one can awaken within us every emotion possible. Suddenly, the physical, mundane annoyances in life mean nothing. No one is standing at a graveside thinking, gosh, I forgot to take the chicken out the freezer. What am I going to make for dinner? Everyone stands at a graveside and thinks, what is life all about? What happens after we die? Is there a God? Am I living my life the way that I should? September 11 in 2001 was the ultimate modern-day soul awakening moment for the entire world. And I would say that very much the things that are going on with this coronavirus are also a spiritual awakening for all of us. If we go back, as it mentions here in this book, to the time of September 11, thousands of people lost their lives, impacting their families and friends, as well as tens of millions of others. Countless people re-examined their lives. People made life decisions like never before. Reports chronicled a surge of people committing and recommitting to marriage. Many people shared with Laurie and her husband feelings that they realized that certain aspects of their lives until that point had lacked depth and meaning, and now they were going to turn them around. People trapped on the doomed plains of the World Trade Center, in the World Trade Center buildings, made last-minute calls to their families. No one spoke about selling his or her stocks or buying a new car. People said, I love you, and take care of the children. I trust that you will raise them well. We clung to one another that day and the days that followed, reconnecting like never before, resolving to be better people. Family, friends, family members who had previously been estranged made peace. Friends who had been feuding for years reached out to one another and put aside different differences. What happened? Tragic death and near death dramatically lifted us out of our everyday body lives and thrust us into the state of soul. We all asked, what is life all about? What are we living for? Am I living my life the way that I should? Yes, September 11 was a soul awakening experience. And before we go too much more into this particular chapter, I would like to end the video over here because I don't want to take it on too long. I want to be able to bring out more short thoughts that we can think about and we can discuss and we can progress together in our attempt to grow together and to master this important habit of being able to speak without gossiping. So at this stage, I want to say that we're currently in the month of Tammuz. We're rapidly moving towards the 17th of Tammuz, which is a fast day, and that begins the 3 weeks. The 3 weeks, of course, is a time leading up to the 9th of Av, the month of Av, and it's a time period where we remember some of the hardest experiences in the history of the Jewish people, and the fall of the Beis Hamikdash, the first Beis Hamikdash, the first temple in Jerusalem, the fall of the second temple in Jerusalem, and the reason for the fall and the reason for the destruction of the temple was because of baseless hatred and because of evil speech spoken amongst one another, between friends, between relatives, between husband and wife. And so we're moving on with this book. I'm hoping to bring out many more short videos of this nature. And one thing that I would like to remind us as we're progressing through this time with the coronavirus is that as we're wearing our masks, the masks of course go over our nose and our mouth. And so it is a reminder to us that there is something about this area of the body that we're needing to pay attention to. So I invite you to join us in another video where we'll be starting to think about the fact that we are souls in bodies, and as a result we have a responsibility to consider how it is that we're interacting with others. Are our words, our thoughts, our speech and our action going to be ones that are uplifting, those that we speak to, those that we speak about, or the topics that we speak about? Are they going to be enriching our lives and helping to draw us closer to our common goals as a human nation, or are they ones that are going to be destroying and hurting others? The choice is ours, and we have the choice in every moment to be doing things that are going to be promoting life, promoting growth, or the opposite. So this is Shoshana Shea of beahappymom.com, and I hope you'll join me in another video where we're working together through this book to help to break this devastating habit of gossiping and speaking badly, and working towards having more enriched relationships, better social skills, and working towards uniting together and helping to build up one another so that we can have productive lives and meaningful lives and a life of meaning, purpose, and peace, which is really what we're wanting and needing, isn't it? Join me in another video. If you've liked this video, please do click that bell so that you can be notified of more videos of this nature coming up. Press that like button, and please also share it with your friends so that we can get more people involved in working together to improve who we are as human beings and how we're behaving, what it is that we're doing in this world, so that we're focusing on being souls in bodies and assisting each other as we move towards the 3 weeks. Shoshana Shea again from beahappymom.com, and I look forward to seeing you in another video.